Welcome to Health Club with Julia. I'm your host, health coach, and registered dietitian, Julia Campagna. I'm on a mission to bridge the gap between looking your best and living your life to the fullest. After years of over dieting, struggling with disordered eating, and destroying my social life, I finally found how to reach my dream physique without sacrificing the things I love. Now I'm sharing all my strategies and education with you. We'll be talking all things health, including hormones, metabolism, and lifestyle to help you cut out the confusion and start living. So get cozy and join the club. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Health Club with Julia podcast. As always, I'm so happy you are here. I cannot even believe that I am about to do a podcast episode relating to something to 2026. I mean, it can relate to right now. You can start using this today. We are still in 2025, but this is kind of related to setting yourself up for a successful 2026 right off the bat. And I just cannot believe that we are talking about this now. I swear, every year that I get older, the year goes faster, which is really scary to think about. And I don't really love that, but can't stop it from happening. We are at the very end of 2025, going into 2026. It's just wild to me. So, how do I want to set you up for 2026? I'm doing this now so that you can prepare and get yourself in the right headspace to, number one, do this and plan ahead so you know exactly what you need to do come January 1st of 2026. But also, I want you to start thinking about what you want the year to look like for yourself. What goals do you have? And not necessarily setting resolutions. So this is not going to be about setting New Year's resolutions. It has to go along with your individual goals, but it's not setting New Year's resolutions. I feel like we know that setting New Year's resolutions and actually following through with them is hard. I forget what the statistic is, but it's like 90% of people fall off their New Year's resolutions by like February. It's something crazy like that. So I just feel like New Year's resolutions isn't always the thing that helps people understand how they're actually going to reach their goal. Like, they set the goal, but then they're like, okay, I have this goal and this is what I'm going to do and this is how I'm going to do it, and we're all fine and dandy. Not so much the case. I feel like it's just a lot harder when you set a big goal rather than like breaking it down into smaller things that you can actually do to push the needle forward. Like, it's great if you have the big goal, but you need actionable steps to get there, if you know what I mean. You can't get somewhere if you don't know how to get there. And I feel like what I'm going to talk about today is an easy way to kind of make the habits that you want to incorporate or change kind of stick. And what I want to discuss today is habit stacking. This concept around habit stacking, I'm going to talk about what that is, but I feel like this is something that is a little bit more digestible for people and something that resonates a little bit more with people, just because it already goes with what you're doing in your everyday life, which is helpful. It's not just saying, oh, I want to do this new thing or change this thing that I have been doing and just blatantly stating that. It's, again, having an action step related to what you're already doing. It's not just an entirely new thing. Like, yes, it is new, but you're tying that in with something that you have always been doing, something that's second nature to you. So let's kind of talk about this. I feel like this is the tool that kind of changed it all for me. When I'm struggling to make a habit stick, I always revert back to habit stacking because I just feel like it's something that actually is helpful and actually allows me to incorporate a new habit more frequently because, again, it's something that it's tied with something I'm already doing. And I feel like, again, this is really beneficial because people suffer through trying to make their new habit stick. Either they're incorporating a new habit or changing an old habit, whichever way you're looking at this, I feel like most people will do that new habit or change the old habit for a couple of weeks and then just like it goes out the window. You stop thinking about it, you totally forget about it, and you're just like, it's not sustainable. It's not something that is like naturally fitting into my everyday life, and so I don't know how to make it stick, and so they just completely forget about it. Habit stacking makes it easier, it makes it last longer, it makes it feel more natural to incorporate, and I think all of those things are reasons why it is actually more successful. So let's take habit stacking and dive into what this is. What is the idea behind habit stacking? So basically the idea with habit stacking is you take your new desired behavior and or changing an old habit and you stack it with part of your established routine that you already have. You can also think of this as a reward system, and I'll give examples of both, but basically you're incorporating this new habit or this change that you want to make with something that you are already routinely doing every single day. Again, that's the key here. That's why I think it's so successful for people, is because you're already doing something and just adding this into that. It's not something that you have to completely change about your life. You're already doing it and you just add this part of it into the routine. So it makes it stick a little bit better because it's more natural to incorporate into something that's already there for you. You're already doing. So let's talk about how we do this. Step number 1 is to choose a routine that you're already doing consistently. So this could be something like brushing your teeth, or having your morning coffee, or making your bed, watching TV after dinner, whatever habitual thing that you do each day. Think of which one you want to choose. Now, you also have to think about the habit and where it's going to be easier to place in. Like, if you're doing it with brushing your teeth, can the habit that you want to incorporate more, or is the habit that you want to incorporate more, this new habit, is it something that you need to do in the morning or want to do in the morning? Now, if it's not, I would choose something at night like watching TV after dinner, or doing the dishes after dinner, or something that's later at night that you habitually do. Brushing your teeth at night, it could still be brushing your teeth, but maybe instead of the morning, it's at night before bed. Whatever. So think about the habit, and then also think about things that you're already doing consistently every single day. It's not something that you're consistently doing here and there. No, it's every day. Like, what do you do every morning or night or afternoon that you can tack something else onto? So number 1 is choose the routine that you want to tack your habit onto. Then step 2 is choosing your habit. So decide on a small new habit that you want to add. Start simple with this. This could be something like journaling. So maybe journaling is something that you've always wanted to do, but it doesn't really stick. You forget to do it every morning, and so you're like, okay, I really wanted to start journaling, but it hasn't been fluid for me. It's not natural, and I just can't find time to do it. Okay, great. Let's use that as the example as journaling in the morning specifically. Again, this could be at night, but we'll say journaling in the morning. Then step number 3 is creating a stack formula. So what I want you to do is link the 2 habits with a stack formula, like, quote unquote, after I, current habit, I will, new habit. So this could be after I brush my teeth, I will start journaling. Or after I have my morning coffee, I will start journaling. So after I will, whatever you're already doing, I will do the new habit. Or, like I said, you can tie them together too, which I think is even more beneficial, but sometimes you can't tie them together. But you could tie them together with something like a stack formula, like, while I, current habit, I will also, new habit. So in this example, it could be, while I have my morning coffee, I will also start journaling. So you can either stack it after or do it with it. And it really just kind of depends on what the habit is. If you can do it with something that you're already doing or not, that really just depends on the situation. So it might be different per person, but those are 2 ways that you can do it. I feel like you can also make this part of a reward. So maybe your routine that you choose, that you do consistently, is something that you absolutely love to do. Maybe your morning coffee is like the highlight of your morning and you like cannot wait to sit down and have your morning coffee. That is kind of like me. Like, I love to make my matcha in the morning and do that with something else that I want to get better at doing. I think it's such a good part of my morning. So you can use it as a reward and do something after you do the new habit. So again, maybe, for example, your highlight of your morning is your morning coffee. Okay, you can also do it in the sense of reward system. So you'll say, after I start journaling or after I do my journal, then I'll get my morning coffee. You can also tie it together like that. So there's a couple different ways that you can go about this. Again, I think this is personal preference and knowing who you are as a person. If you work better with a reward system, like you feel like you get more out of it if you're getting a reward by doing something, then go with the reward system. Do your new habit first, and then you get the thing that you really like that's already consistent in your routine. If you don't necessarily need the reward and you think that you would like to pair it with something that you also love, so again, maybe coffee is your highlight of the morning, and so to make the new habit seem not as dreadful, you pair it with the thing that you're doing. So you have the coffee and you journal at the same time, So again, this is dependent, but those are 3 different stack formulas that you can use to incorporate this new habit into something that you're already currently doing. And a tip with this too, try to be specific with your habits. For example, instead of saying, after I eat dinner, I will clean. Instead, say something like, after I eat dinner, I will vacuum the living room. So instead of just saying you're going to clean, what do you actually want to do? What is the specific habit that you want to incorporate? Get specific on it. Instead of cleaning, you're going to vacuum the living room specifically. So just, again, that's a random example. But think of your habit and then try to get really specific with it if you can. With the journaling example, maybe you say, I'll journal for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 2 minutes, whatever that looks like for you. Or I'll use my journal prompt from X person. You can get a little bit more specific with it, but the more specific with your habits, I think the easier that this will be and the more likely it will be to stick. So that is how we do this. That's the formulas to use. So you choose your routine that you're already doing, you choose your habit, and then you put that stack formula together, and that's the new routine that you'll be doing to incorporate this new habit. So how I like to start doing this more is write out your goals first. What is the big goal that you have for 2026 or for whatever timeline it is? What is your big goal that you have? Know what your big overarching goals are. Then from there, you can break down that goal into habits and action steps that you need to take to reach that goal. So that way you know exactly what you need to do and exactly what habits you need to focus on that's going to actually move you toward your goal. They're not just like arbitrary random habits that you want to start doing. They're things that are actually getting you closer to the goal. So that's how I would do it. And then I would use the method that I talked about with the stack formula. So start with your goal, then locate action steps and habits, then do the stack formula. And that's what I would do. I feel like, again, I already said this, but I feel like this method is definitely something that makes habits stick easier and in turn then helps you reach your goal faster and more efficiently. And this I really feel like is better than just setting New Year's resolutions or just setting a goal and saying, I want to do this by the end of the year or I want to do this in 2026. This is actually a streamlined way to make that happen with points to make it easier for yourself. So this is a method that I love to use. I do use it in my everyday life and I definitely have seen success with it. This is a pretty quick episode. I just kind of wanted to touch on this now while you still have time to think about and plan for your 2026 goals. But if you have any questions on habit stacking, what to do, if you're not sure how to habit stack with your specific habits or anything like that, and you want more help on you specifically, again, feel free to leave a comment or DM me on Instagram. We can go over this. I'm happy to go over them with you. That kind of concludes this one. I'm really excited to get into 2026 and set some new goals and kind of see where 2026 takes us. But that's everything, and I'll see you guys at the next episode.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Health Club with Julia podcast. If you loved the episode, share the podcast and tag me, and subscribe so you don't miss any further episodes. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM. Thanks for being a part of the club. See you next time.